your fitness business podcast snapshot. Ways to communicate and connect with your team members. How to foster collaboration within a business across multiple locations. And tips for building a strong team. All of that and more coming up in today's show. You're listening to the industry's leading fitness business podcast for owners and managers. Each week, we invite business experts, coaches, authors, and operators from around the world to share their expert advice with you, the Fvp family. We'd like to thank this month's premier podcast partner, Tribe Team Training, the world-class leaders in small group training experiences. Earn unprecedented profit, gain guaranteed results for your members, and ensure the very best small group training education for your coaches. Contact Tribe Team Training today and have a conversation to see just how much opportunity there is at your fitness facility. Go to tribeteamtraining.com or click on the link in today's show notes. Welcome everyone, I'm your host Chantal Broderick. Thank you so much for joining me today. My special guest this week is the President and CEO of Gold's Gym International, Adam Zeitsiff. Throughout his career, Adam has served in CEO and CIO positions for a number of major organizations, including serving as CIO for Gold's Gym from 2016 through to 2018. He specializes in accelerating and managing global operations, growth, expansion, and brand innovation of multi-unit retail and franchise companies in highly competitive landscapes. Now, in addition to that very impressive professional bio, the thing that struck me the most about Adam is his undeniable passion for the Gold's Gym business and his team, which is exactly where today's story begins, with a look into some key leadership habits and specific initiatives that they do within the Gold's Gym business. Today's interview is perfect for any of you who are currently a manager or a leader, or for those of you who are inspiring to be in the future. We're about to transition to this week's interview, but first, here's a message from our friends at Tribe Team Training. Tribe Team Training has a world-class training system that will ensure your coaches thrive in your club and help you to keep your very best coaches. Find out about getting your trainers Tribe certified. Go to tribeteamtraining.com or click on the link in today's show notes. Team, before we dive into my interview with Adam, I first want to tell you about a very important event coming up in early 2020. On Thursday, March the 19th, 2020, you will have the opportunity to join friends and colleagues at the annual Fvp Family Meetup at URSA 2020. Starting from the Marriott Marquis San Diego Marina at 6:30 a.m., we walk and we talk for 45 minutes, sharing experience, ideas, and stories. Everyone from the Fvp family is invited, and we would absolutely love for you to join us on the day. So for full details, make sure you listen in after the main interview. Enjoy this week's interview with my special guest, Adam Zeitsiff. Adam, I want to say a very warm welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
You get an extra big thanks because you have very kindly recorded this at 8:45 p.m. your time. So an extra big thank you to you for doing that.
My pleasure.
We are very grateful. So without further ado, I think we get straight into it. And I have to say, when I was doing some research for this interview and having a look at some of the articles that you've written and interviews that you have done, you have this undeniable passion for the Gold's Gym business and the people within the business. And in fact, I read that you actually refer to your 6,500 strong team as the Gold's Gym family. So to start off with today, I was hoping you might be able to tell us about that word family. What does that mean to you in business?
Yeah, I think it's really important that when you go to work every day and you spend 9 or 10 hours a day with these people, whether it's in our support center, which is our main office, or if it's in one of our 700 clubs around the world, that, you need to go to battle with someone every day that you care about and that you believe in, and that is your family, just like you would at home, like you would your spouse or your brother or your sister or your parents. And, like I said, you work hard with them. You actually spend more time with your work family than you do with your regular family in many cases. And really, I think that, I've always felt that people will work harder for someone that they care about, even just in a professional business way, that's family, and that they know you care about them. And to them, that drives different behaviors. And I think it's really important. And you can't fake that. You really have to care about people, and you have to show them that, we're not just here to pick up a paycheck together. We're here to make a difference together, to change lives together. And if we do that as a family, then we will certainly be more successful. And I think that's been something that, as an entrepreneur, when I was in my younger days and starting businesses and growing them, you literally were a family. I mean, you were starting out yourself with your business partner, starting a business, and you grew the business from very tiny to hopefully very big, and from very, small revenues to large. And you grew that as a family. And that's where it stems from. And I always look at my entrepreneurial businesses that I started as my family, and now we're here running Gold. So these are certainly all my family members.
You know what, Adam? We have a lot of managers, we've got a lot of leaders that listen to the show, and I'm sure they would love to learn from you some of the ways that they as a leader can actually reinforce to their own teams, that they feel a part of their family. Is there any advice that you can share with us?
Yeah, I think for me, there's a number of things that you can do. And again, you need to be sincere about it, and it's important. But I think the first and foremost is certainly communicate regularly. People need to know that you care about them, and then you care about your family. And part of that is just being communicative to them, and showing them that you can reach out and touch them and talk to them, right? So I think that's important. I think the second part of that, and reinforcing that you are family, is be seen regularly. It's hard when you're a senior executive or you're a manager, or it doesn't matter what you are. When you lead people, if you're in your office all day and you're coming out, to get lunch, or, to leave the office and come and go, but you're just not stopping, and you're not talking, and you're not being seen, that doesn't make people feel like you care and that they are part of that family. And for me, it's many areas. For example, at least twice a day, I try to get up and walk around the office and say hi to everybody. I can't stop and have a conversation with every person, of course, but every day I walk around once or twice. I say hello to everyone, a little high fives. In this country, as a little knuckle punch or whatever we do, we chat a little bit. I'll talk to folks, and usually I stop in different areas, different days, and it's just to do my rounds and say hello. And being seen is really important. That shows people you care. And then, of course, in our business, in the fitness business, we're not just the support center headquarters, but we're out in the field, and we're taking time to talk to people in the clubs. And I think it's important when I go visit clubs, which I try to do as often as possible, that you don't just come in and make a beeline for the general manager's office and shut the door and talk numbers and business. And I usually go right out on the floor, and I say hi to the trainers, and I stop at the front desk and just walk around and ask the GM to show me around, and we talk and we say hello to members or people like that. So I think that's another way people really see in our business that you're not just there to see how the club is doing and performing. You're there to talk to the people who make it happen and the family that makes it happen, right? And I think it's important. And I think, I think you just need to show them you care about them as people, even in the slightest way, and not just what they can do for you to provide results and productivity in your business, but they're just as people. And I think that really goes a long way as leaders for you with your team.
It definitely is that difference between having, employees and having, as you refer to them, your family. And Adam, you mentioned in the pre-call Quickfire 5 about a weekly communication email that you send out to the team. And I think this is really significant for everyone to hear about. Can you just talk to us about that and tell us a little bit more about that weekly communication that you send out on a Sunday night?
Yeah, so I call it my Sunday Night Thoughts, and it's not a very creative title, but it just started that way. And next thing you know, that stuck. I wish I could take credit for this. I read about this a couple of years ago from somebody who's in a tech space, because I have a technology leadership background. And as a founder, he felt it was important to do when they were 2 people, and then 20, and then a couple hundred, and it just stuck. And I said, of course, that's the best kind of flattery is imitating someone. And I said, that's a great idea. And so when I came back to Gold's in this role, and I wanted to put my own spin on that. and I wanted to communicate with people. I mean, we have over 6,000 employees just in our own group, never mind our franchisees and their groups. But, and I think that, you know, being spread out across the country, it was important that people saw that I was a human being and that I was just like them. And so I send an email out every Sunday. I, knock wood, have not missed one. And sometimes, believe me, I'm tired. It's been a long day. I've got a family, but I sit down and I say hello to the team. I usually recap, you know, something that big that happened that weekend in my life. We usually talk a little bit about my family first. We did this with the kids this weekend, or we had this issue, or I tell a funny anecdote about my teenagers or something of that nature. And so I make the first, you know, probably half of it at least personal, so that people can understand that I'm just like them. I get up out of bed, put my feet on the ground, do everything I do in the morning. I deal with the same silly things that kids do, or that family does, or that my darn dog does, or whatever it is. And I get a lot of good feedback on that. I think people can relate to that. And half the time when people reply, it's about the personal things more than the business things. And then I usually wrap it with, I tie it back to business as best I can. There's not always a tie-in, but I try to tie it back to some sort of lesson, even just a paragraph or two. And sometimes I send out little notes about some stats I read about the industry, or about this, or about ways that someone told me they do this better, or I just tie it back to a business lesson based on life. And at first, it was one or two emails back that I would get from people, and then all of a sudden it was 5 or 6 or 7, and now, you know, I get a few dozen or more emails every Sunday night, late, or Monday throughout the early part of the week, thanking me for this, or man, my kid did that too when he was a teenager. It drove me nuts. And it's just a way to connect. And it's been really fun for me. It's certainly a labor of love. And I think that when I go into a club in, you know, somewhere in Greensboro, Carolina, or North Carolina, where we have 6 clubs, and I see people I've never met before, but they can relate to a story that I told them, they already have a connection to me. And it's been really helpful.
That is such a beautiful example. And I have to say, to me, one of the most important factors here in that type of a communication from a manager or for a leader into a business is the consistency about it, because it shows a lot that you're doing this every single Sunday. And you mentioned right up front, you know, sometimes you've had a big weekend or a big day with the family and you're tired, but you still take the time to actually, you know, pen those couple of notes or those couple of words. Is there any advice that you can give to anyone? Because I know what a lot of our listeners are thinking right now, and that is, oh, I tried to do that before, but, you know, I did it for a month and then I missed one and then I did another one. Is there any tips that you can give us on staying consistent when we're communicating with our team?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, for the first couple of weeks, I thought I had to come up with all the ideas and all the thoughts on Sunday. And that's when I do all the writing, but I jot notes down during the week and I just make reminders to myself. And it takes the pressure off a little bit with, you know, having to come up with what am I going to say and talk about. Of course, the first half is always just what happens with the family and silly things, but it ties back to business. I make notes during the week to remind myself. And I just set aside the time. And I think the key thing is getting family at home to know that that's important. My wife knows now I need to get up in the morning. I do a bunch of level setting for my day and then in my week. But then later on that morning or that afternoon, I usually set aside 90 minutes to 2 hours. And she knows that I'm spilling my guts to the company. And sometimes she's part of that. And she's in the stories a lot. So she wants to know what I'm saying. And so having the family buy in for something like this certainly helps. And my kids, even my teenagers know. And it's just something that you do. And I think it becomes habit and it becomes important. And for me, I don't want to let people down, because now, even though, okay, I'm the boss and they feel like they have to read it sometimes, most people enjoy reading it. They get a kick out of it. And it's just a fun way for them to start their week. And so I kind of don't want to let them down either.
Yeah, there are some really great methods of staying consistent. And I think in particular, I love what you said about jotting down a couple of notes throughout the week, you know, so you don't have this huge amount of pressure to come up with brand new content on that Sunday night or wherever it might be. And I think that could work equally as well if you're doing a newsletter for your members, you know, for your clients. Same type of philosophy you can follow to remain consistent with that communication. So Adam, you know what, I was reading a LinkedIn article, and in that article you said the words, a successful business is collaborative at all levels. And I'm sure that many people know that, you know, you have, and correct me if I'm wrong with these figures, but I've got a figure of 600 gyms across 27 countries. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, we've actually, Chloe, we got about a little over 700 in 28 countries now. Yeah,
There
so
you go. I've got
since
to
you
update
did that research, we've grown.
that. Exactly. Fast growing. So my question to you is this. For a business leader or a manager who is working across multiple locations or multiple countries, how can they actually foster collaboration within their business and amongst their teams? Is there any advice you can share with us on that?
Yeah, I think for me, I think, and this is the start of it all. And I mentioned this with one of, earlier in the call, but we communicate regularly. I don't care what the means is, if it's just a quick email, if it's a blog post, but certainly communicate regularly is key because people start to hear from you, and you're not just out of sight, out of mind. Number one. Number two, I think I encourage people in all our locations, in all our, whether it's our clubs or offices, to share their ideas with me, a question or an idea. In fact, we every 2 weeks I post a response to a lot of these ideas on our internal intranet. We call it Ask Adam, and people will send all sorts of questions. Mainly business. Once in a while, I get a funny one about sports or kids, but mainly business. And they have questions. Why do we do this? Is this coming? Are we going to invest in this? And so I pick ones that I pick ones that are easy. I pick ones that I feel will be relevant to most people that are reading it, not just one small department. And if it is one small department, I'll just answer personally over email. But I pick a few every couple of weeks, and we post the questions. I pen the response myself. I do all my own writing, and of course, I have a great group of marketing folks who help clean things up for certain things. But for these kind of things, I do all my own writing, and I just respond honestly. Yes, we're going to do that. Or, you know what? We just can't afford to do that right now, or whatever the question is, and it gets posted out there for everyone to see. So even if you weren't asking the question yourself, you get to see the answer. And a couple of the things, we do is just, we do some video blog updates, right? So people get to see some video messages, which, is nothing new, but I think people like to see the face. And then we hold a monthly leadership call with our team above the club, and our club level. So we have a leadership call every month. I'm on video with our executive team. They can see us around the table. We go through an agenda. We talk. We answer questions. And I think it's just a matter of trying to communicate without, overbearing, being overburdensome with people's time. Just trying to communicate and show people that we are constantly listening to them. We're answering their questions, and we care about what they're saying. We're responding to them.
Adam, I love the concept of the Ask Adam questions and responses that you do. With those, do you find that you need to find ways to encourage the team to submit questions, or are they pretty happy to send stuff through on a regular basis?
Yeah, they do fairly regularly. We don't get 50 emails every other week, but we certainly get a handful. We got more early on. Also, I very much request a lot of information from my team, so it's not just on the Ask Adam. Sometimes in Sunday night emails, I will say, "Hey, what do you guys think of this? Shoot me a note back," and I'll get 30 responses, and I'll keep track of the answers in a spreadsheet or whatnot, just for things like that. So I say, yeah, it's fairly consistent. That we get some really good questions, and with the fitness, and things are always changing in our business, which is a good thing, and so there's always things people want to know the answers to, and how it'll help them.
Definitely. And do they? You mentioned that you answer those on the intranet. Do they normally post them on the intranet, or do you have a different type of system for collecting that information?
Yeah, we just created an email alias, so it's Ask Adam. It's only internal, so if anyone external tries to email, it'll bounce. But internally,
you might get hit up.
I know anybody listening is going to send it. Yes, but an internal alias for Ask Adam, and then they send a note over, and it comes into and I have access to the inbox, and we go through the questions.
Very cool idea. I love the sound of that. And you also mentioned that you do a video blog. Now, do you get on there personally on that video blog?
Yeah, this is very new. So we're just starting to put more videos out to our team. So for example, we just had a bunch of new training come out for operational management in our clubs. And so I did a quick intro video. I did, as part of the training, I did some stuff towards the middle and at the end to wrap it up. And so, because I can't get out there in front of everybody, we're using video more to just make sure that people can see and engage, even if it's one way, and just feel like, I care enough and want to communicate with them, not just behind the voice on the phone or an email, but happy to show show my face and sit there and talk to folks. And so we're going to continue to do that a little more and put some more video posts up on our intranet and just try to communicate in the best way we can and be out there in that medium.
They're all fantastic examples of ways that we can connect with our team. So let's just have a chat about the Gold's Gym brand now, Adam, because again, in another article that I read, you said strong teammates make a strong brand. So I'm interested to understand what role your team and the Gold's Gym family actually plays in the Gold's brand.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's a good thing. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's a good thing, and it can also be a stressful thing. We work for the iconic fitness brand in the industry. I mean, we like to say that we help create this industry. We're the oldest brand. We are extremely well known all around the world. I've been to countries where people wear our T-shirts, and I see them, and we don't even have gyms there, right? We just happen to have that brand in fitness that it resonates, right? And I think it all boils down to the people. And back in 1965, when Joe Gold started it, he created all his own equipment, and he surrounded himself with good people and people who cared about fitness. And back then it was bodybuilding and making people strong for that. Today it's making people strong for life, and that's what Gold's is all about. Is what are you stronger for? Well, Gold's Gym can help you get stronger for the things that are important to you, whether it's just lifting the kids out of the car or carrying the groceries on one trip instead of 7 or whatever it is. We help you make you stronger for that. And I think our teammates are at the crux of that, right? And fitness is the ultimate people business. Anybody who records on this podcast or talks or listens to it or is in the industry understands that we are the ultimate people business, us in healthcare, because we are there. People are vulnerable. They come to us for a reason. They've made an emotional decision, and we're there to help them. And I think our teammates help make our brand strong because we are known for being the experts in fitness. We are known not just for being cheerleaders, but for actually understanding the science behind it, what will make you stronger, whether you're going to be stronger, like I said, for life, for sport, for health, whatever it may be. And our teammates and people that we have in our business represent that. And so we just make sure that they are representative of that in terms of their education, their background. And I think it kind of resonates with Gold's, and Gold's is known for making people strong, and you've got to have the right people on board with that. And as we bring on more people that are recognized as experts in fitness and experts in making people strong for what is important to them in life, I think the stronger our brand grows as a result, because it's all about bringing the right people who believe in that and who are believe in the product and are passionate about the product, and we're not just there for the paycheck. And I think that's one of the many things that sets us apart is how they resonate with that. They believe in it. They want to give that to our members and make that part of what they do and achieve when they're in Gold. And that really helps make our brand strong.
Adam, you've mentioned a few numbers here today. We talked about over 700 gyms, 28 countries, 6,500 strong team. Tell us what the future looks like for Gold's Gym.
Well, we're really excited. And what excites me is almost, even though we are in 28 countries and we have over 700 gyms, I think what excites me is just where we're not. We still have huge growth opportunities in the United States. We have huge growth opportunities in Europe, Latin America. We just signed a new master franchisee in Australia, New Zealand that we're so excited about. They're going to grow the brand. I mean, we've got just a big opportunity. And I think our future is certainly focused on growing through franchising and really getting back to what we're really good at, which is helping people who want to be fitness entrepreneurs, grow their business with our brand and train them and teach them our ways and then help them become great stewards of the brand, just like we have been all these years. And, that's and also creating some new products. You're going to see some new things over the next few months, some new footprints, some new technology, some new fitness products, things that are really going to help us meet the fitness consumer and the fitness entrepreneur where they want to be. And we're really excited about that.
Wow, that is intriguing. What a little teaser to finish up on. I look forward to hearing more about those exciting new innovations. So, Adam, we finish off each of our shows with Fitbispiration. So can you share with us today your top 3 tips for building a strong team? We're about to hear this week's Fitbispiration, but first, here's a message from our friends at Loud Rumour.
Advertising is not expensive. Obscurity is. Being unknown in your own community. And for just $99 a month, you can put an end to all of that. Loud Rumor has worked with over 1,500 fitness studios all over the world. And for only $99, we'll teach you step by step how to run ad campaigns like some of the largest fitness franchises on the planet. To learn more and get a bunch of sample training videos, go to loudrumorvt.com. Again, that's loudrumorvt.com.
Now let's go back to Adam, where he's going to share his tips on building a strong team.
Yeah, I think when you look to build a strong team, I think it's important for me. The top three things I would think about would be, I always look to people and say, would I want to spend time with this person personally? And that has nothing to do with their domain expertise, right? It's just, would I spend time with them? If I'm going to spend 9 or 10 hours a day, do I feel like I could go to the bar and have a pint and have a meal and I would enjoy that time with them? And it sounds silly, but if I'm going to spend so much time with that person, I want to make sure that I'm going to enjoy it. We're going to work together. We're going to be collaborative. Second thing I think I would say is, the type of people you want, the integrity in the business, and the type of people you want working for you on your team. And I always tell my team members, hey, is this someone that you'd bring home to introduce to mom and dad as a friend? Would you be okay with that? What would mom and dad think of this person? And it sounds silly, but it's kind of, as we grow up, we bring friends home and mom and dad always has an opinion on them. And, you want to think like, I want to make sure that if I brought this employee home or this person on my team home, that everyone would like them and they would say, great choice, right? And then lastly, I think, and I think this goes without saying in any industry, but especially in fitness, you've got to be passionate about the cause. I don't care what your physical state is. I don't care how in shape you are or not. That's not what I mean. I mean, you just need to be passionate about helping people achieve their potential through fitness, which is what we do at Golds. That's what our vision is, helping people achieve their potential through fitness and our cause. And so I think people have to be passionate about that in some way, shape, or form, and hire someone who cares about what they're going to do here for the cause and not just a paycheck.
They're great tips to finish up on, and I have learned so much from you today, Adam, in a very short amount of time. I particularly love that communication piece and the ways that you show your team that you care about them and they're part of the overall family. And I think, to me, what I've really taken away from today is just how important that we, as managers or as leaders of our team, that we ensure that we're constantly and consistently communicating and being seen. I thought was really important as well. I love the fact that you get out there and you walk the floor a couple of times a day and you say hi to people, and I think it's a great reminder for us all to just check back in and make sure that we're doing that, make sure that we're getting out there and that we're talking to our team on a regular basis as well. So thank you for joining us today as a special guest on the Fitness Business Podcast.
Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks once again to Adam. Now here's a message from our podcast partner, Team Rockstar Fit. Team Rockstar Fit is an award-winning mastermind team that helps fit pros lead happy and balanced lives. Get mentoring and support. Learn how to grow your business online with Beachbody. You can apply for a free consultation today at teamrockstarfit.com.
Precore Quickfire 5.
This week's Precore Quickfire 5 guest is studio owner and consultant Ashley Selman. I am so thrilled to welcome my special guest for today. Ashley, welcome. It is so fantastic that you're joining us today.
Thank you, Chantel. Super excited to be here.
So let's kick off with our Precore Quickfire 5. Tell everyone, why do you do what you do?
Well, I realized there's two things that I love, fitness and business. And lo and behold, that's kind of a unique combo. And I love the opportunity to be able to help other fitness business owners run more successful businesses so that we can really help more and more trainers and clients in the process.
And what's one ritual that helps you become better at what you do?
I'm a big stickler on my weekly schedule. So every Sunday I dive into exactly what my schedule is going to look like for that week so I can make sure I really keep focused on the most important things on my list.
Nice one. And speaking of which, are there any apps or systems that you use to stay in control of your workload?
Yeah. So for this, I'm really old school. I love having a paper calendar. I like being able to see my whole month and my whole week at once. And really that is what my go-to for my system to really visualize what I'm working on. And it helps me to stay helps me stay focused.
I like the old school way as well.
Yeah.
So, Ashley, what's one book, podcast, or blog that you'd recommend and why?
Yeah, well, a book that's super appropriate to our topic today, it's called Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. And it's just a great way to kind of rethink how you're hitting your profit numbers in your business.
Well, I've got to tell you a little secret, because anyone that's been listening to the show for a long time will actually remember that we had the awesome Mike Michalowicz on the show, not once, but twice before. And I 100% support your recommendation. Profit First has been one of the best books I have read when it comes to dealing and understanding finances. So great recommendation. And for all of you that are listening right now, I'm going to put a link to Profit First, but also to Mike's interviews on the show in today's show notes. So speaking of which, Ashley, just give us a really quick insight into the topic that we're going to be focusing on during your main interview.
Yeah, that's so perfect. I love that. What we're going to be talking about today is basically understanding your numbers in your business and how to really hit your studio profit goals, which is so important to be able to run a long-term successful business.
I think this is going to be so great, Ashley, because you, as you mentioned right at the beginning, you wear the hats of being a fitness professional and loving the business space as well. And what I'm really looking forward to is just hearing how you're going to break this down for us, how we can really understand that financial side of our business. And I'm the first one to put my hand up and say, it's not my area of specialty. So I love sort of hearing that from our experts such as yourself. So really looking forward to our main interview next week. Ashley, thank you for joining us today for the Pre-Call Quickfire 5.
Great, thanks.
This week's Rewind Show is episode 194, Leadership Lessons from the founder and CEO of TRX, Randy Hetrick. During the episode, you learn leadership lessons to help your personal journey, how a leader can earn the respect of their team, and advice for new managers to improve their leadership skills. If you missed that episode, then head over to today's show notes at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com and in the search field, type 194. You heard it at the start of the show, so here are all the details that you've been waiting for. You are all invited to the Fvp Family Meetup on Thursday, March the 19th, 2020 at 6:30 a.m. If you aren't familiar with our meetup walks, this is an active networking event. We will walk and we'll talk for 45 minutes and return back to the main entrance of the Marriott Marquis San Diego Marina by 7:15 a.m. The meetup is free and it's an awesome way to start your day. We'd love to know who's coming, so please jump over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, go to the top of the page and click on the tab called Meetup. Then register your details for the Ursa Walk. If you need any more information whatsoever, then please email me directly at chantal@fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Thank you all so much for joining me for this week's show. A quick reminder that, of course, all the resources and the links for today's episode can be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Thank you to our foundation partner, Active Management. Active Management are a fitness business coaching company that help clients all over the world. And this month, I have a business tip for you all. Join the Active Management Facebook community. It's an amazing group and you'll meet like-minded fitness owners and managers from all over the world. All you need to do is go to facebook.com/groups/Active Management Community. It's a highly engaging community where JT from Active Management shares loads of resources. Things like photos from inside gyms, reasons to exercise, a monthly book club, challenges, and even ideas under $50. It's free and it is an awesome community. Once again, just go to facebook.com/groups/Active Management Community. Thank you all so much for joining me today. And remember, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.